Tennessee loses to Arkansas at Arkansas in a game that, as a Tennessee fan, felt like a fever dream. You know, I was waiting the entire game for Tennessee to turn it on and kick it into that second gear, and it just never happened. Overall, I thought the offense obviously could not get things done for reasons that I'll explain in a second. I've been seeing a lot of people, you know, family I've talked to, friends I've talked to, Knoxville radio, guys are calling out Nico's stats, looking at his stats and thinking that that dictates what's going on with this Tennessee offense, blaming it on Nico, looking at stats, and they don't even know what the they don't know how to read the stats. They look at the stats and read the numbers and think that it tells the story, but these guys don't watch film. These guys don't know football. Nonetheless, guys, defensively, Tennessee I thought did a good enough job until the fourth quarter, where they were just ran down and they didn't have much left in the tank. And that Arkansas run game ended up, you know, being able to close it out for Arkansas. But my first issue and most glaring issue with this Tennessee team in this game most recently was Josh Huepel and the play calling. If you go back and watch my reaction to the Oklahoma game, that was one of my biggest issues with him in that game, was the passivity in the play calling and, you know, having your foot on the other team's throat. And, you know, Tennessee being historically, or Huepel being historically a very aggressive coach, so far this season in the Oklahoma game and the Arkansas game has gone to the other side of that spectrum and turned into the most passive coach I've seen Tennessee have since Pruitt, probably Butch, okay? And really disappointed in the play calling that I've seen those last couple of games from Tennessee. Coming off of a bye week, I would have expected to see more wrinkles and more additions into this offense. But instead of that, the defense was, or the offense rather, was more bland and more basic than we had seen up to this point in the season. As far as Nico's stats, this guy's a redshirt freshman. All these experiences for him are new. This is his first time, you know, going on the road to Arkansas coming off of a bye week. This is his first time coming off a bye week as a starter, period. You know, this is his first time coming off a big SEC win, you know, that being Oklahoma a couple weeks ago, you know, going to another SEC away game. This is all new experiences for Nico. Nico was handicapped by Josh Huepel. I'm pretty sure every pass we threw was a screen. We did not test the defense vertically, barely any of the first half, and then Josh Heupel's going to expect Nico to be able to throw it 40, 50, 60 yards down the field on a dime when he has been cold the entire game because we haven't let him test this defense. Nico has no idea how the secondary moves. Nico has no idea the matchups he likes. Nico has no idea anything schematically as far as the vertical passing game because we did not call it the entire game. Now, the main reason that is schematics. Josh Huepel in the post-game press conference said the same thing he said in the Oklahoma game for reasons why the offense wasn't as explosive as it should have been, stating that the defense shows them a different look and a different shell, which is true. You know, those things are true. With that being said, Huepel, Brent Venables and Oklahoma's defense came out in a different shell 2 weeks ago. You had a bye week to figure it out. You know, maybe think, okay, some of this stuff Oklahoma did worked. You know, maybe some other teams are going to adjust and adapt and add some of their things to their repertoire when they play us. Maybe we need to look at this during the bye week, install some things, you know, figure out some plays we have that work. But no, none of that happens. And Arkansas comes out with their defense and does a very similar thing that Oklahoma does, you know, changing the front to 3 down linemen. And Tennessee fans will know the inside run is pivotal to Tennessee's offense. So what teams started doing, they just started crowding it. They're going to have 2 linebackers right over those guards. They're going to have a nose tackle right over the center, and they're going to have those ends squeezed in tight. They're going to clog the inside of the front 7. They're going to clog the inside, and they're going to spill. They're going to make all those runs bounce to the outside where they're going to fill with their safeties and their speed from their secondary to those runs. We have to have an adaptation for that. We have to have a counter for that. I got one thing. How about the quarterback run game? Where's that been? I understand I understand we have to save Nico. We don't want to show these teams too much. But that game looked like it was one of the first games of the season, and we're playing Kent State or Austin Peay, and we're not trying to show anybody anything. This is an SEC game, guys. Away, at night, against a coach who's on the hot seat. Against a team who's been in every single game they've played and has beaten themselves. They have learned from these losses where they've had the lead and not been able to close it out. They learned from this. And what do they do against Tennessee? They grind it out. They keep fighting, and they finally get it done. Talking about Arkansas, and are finally able to close out a game. I understand that Josh Heupel, wants to win in a multitude of different ways, wants to be able to rely on the defense and play the battle of field position. You have to stay true to what your team is and what it's built for. Is the defense the best it's been since you've been here? Yes. Is the team built for a field position game and a defensive game? No. Our defense is built to complement our offense. Our scheme as a football team is designed to make other teams commit to the pass by them getting behind early, so we can rear our pass rushers back and rush the passer. Okay? We're seeing when we get into these games, based off the way that we're calling it offensively, we do not have an answer for this. And that takes me into my number one point, guys. The offensive line was absolutely horrendous. You can't do anything with a bad offensive line. Nico was sacked 4 times, 5 times. I still don't have internet, so I can't pull up the stats. Nonetheless, Nico had no protection. The run game could not get going hardly because of the O-line. And, Power Football Focus, PFF, who I do not agree with on a lot of their stuff, they had our left tackle and right tackle rated below a 50. The 2 lowest rated players on our entire team are 2 tackles. You're not going to do anything with that. It's impossible. With that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit of X's and O's here real quick. Like I mentioned earlier, Arkansas's defense ran 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, so a 3-2 box, 5-man box, a light box that they were able to stop our run game with because they were bullying our front 7. Or our O-line. Their front 7 was bullying them. Because they were able to bully our O-line with less guys, they were able to have a 3-safety shell. They were able to have 3 safeties back 10, 15 yards behind the field. You can't pass the ball when you have a 3-safety shell. It's impossible. You have to run the ball when there's only 5 defenders in the box. You have to. And we couldn't force Arkansas out because their front 7 was just meaner and played better and wanted it more, frankly, than our offensive line. Josh Heupel, my biggest knock on him has always been his laissez-faire, quarterback attitude that he brings to the Tennessee Vols. And, I guess I've been proven wrong in his, laissez-faire attitude and, blase attitude towards all this, water off the camel's back. I've kind of been proven wrong because this, he's kept developing this Tennessee team into the team that it is up to this point where we're a national championship contender. Georgia loses in the SEC. Alabama has question marks. We are in control of our own destiny. We're getting talked about more than we have since Hendon Hooker. And the passivity and, just a complete change in Josh Heupel's style as a play caller has really, really disappointed me. And I know a lot of fans, a lot of fellow Tennessee fans are feeling the same way, guys. But that's going to do it for this. Did Nico play great? No. Is it his fault? No. Is it entirely Josh Heupel's fault? No. The play calling has to get better. That's a fact. The play calling has to get better. The quarterback run game, we need to get Nico involved more with the passing game as well. The offensive line is the number one issue, in my opinion, following that game. If we can't get that O-line figured out, We ain't beating Texas. We ain't beating Georgia at Georgia. At Georgia. But the Vols know that. Tennessee knows that. Tim Banks is doing a great job on that defense. I have a video on the channel breaking down that Tim Banks defense from early in the season. Go watch that, guys. Go watch a bunch of the other videos. Like, comment what you think, because guys, I don't really know what to think of Josh Heupel right now. He's got the program to where it is, but has the ceiling been reached for Josh Heupel and what he can do for this Vols team? I don't know, guys. I'm so conflicted. I'm so emotional with what happened. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. That's going to be it for this video, guys. I appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.